She marched right up to my porch like she was storming the gates of a castle she thought belonged to her. "You can't be here," she snapped, phone already in her hand. "Hey, this is private HOA property. I'm calling the cops right now." Didn't flinch. Just leaned against the railing, arms crossed, coffee in hand. Behind me, the morning lake shimmered like nothing was wrong. But everything was wrong, and she had no idea how badly she was about to mess up. Said calmly, "Call whoever you need." Karen's lips twisted like she smelled garbage. She was dressed like someone who watched too many courtroom dramas, blazer too tight, heels sinking into the gravel, clipboard tucked under her arm like it gave her power. Her sunglasses reflected my cabin like it was an offense to the landscape. "You're squatting," she hissed. "This cabin was condemned. The HOA board voted last week. You need to leave now." I stared at her, then down at my deed sitting open on the table. The one with the county seal. The one signed by the man whose name was on the courthouse. The one she hadn't seen yet. Karen didn't wait. She turned away, pacing, already barking into her phone. "Yes, 911. I have a trespasser. Aggressive. Won't leave. Claims he owns property. He clearly doesn't. Send someone fast. Aggressive." I took a sip of my coffee. 20 minutes later, 2 sheriff vehicles rolled up the gravel path. Karen's entire posture changed. She stood straighter, waved at them like she was their boss. "Over here." She called, "This is the guy. That's the one I told you about." One of the deputies stepped forward, resting his hand on his belt. "Sir, may I ask your name?" I gave it. He blinked, then looked down at his tablet. Karen kept talking, fast and loud. He broke in. "He's refusing to leave. This place is under HOA lockdown. We already posted violation notices. That's enough," the deputy said sharply. Karen froze. He looked back at me. "Mr. McAllister, ... Sorry for the trouble. We ran your name. Would you mind confirming something real quick?" I handed him the deed. He scanned it, nodded slowly, then looked up at Karen like he'd just realized she wasn't a misunderstanding. She was the problem. "Ma'am," he said, his tone flat, "you may want to sit down." She blinked. "Excuse me?" "Just filed a false police report against the man who legally owns not just this cabin, not just this land." He paused, turned the page on the deed. "But the entire county jurisdictional district where this HOA claims to operate." Karen didn't sit. She stumbled back 2 steps. Karen's jaw hung open, but no words came out. Her phone slipped from her hand and hit the gravel with a dull thud. For a second, all you could hear was the soft lap of lake water and the rustling of wind through the pine trees. Even the cops looked like they were trying to process what they just read. I didn't say anything. I just picked up my coffee again. The deputy flipped through the pages slowly, his voice steady. "This deed was signed by your grandfather. In 1972, it includes full mineral rights, water access, forestry control, and zoning authority for the surrounding county lands." He looked at Karen again. "That means your so-called HOA doesn't legally exist here and never did." Karen was shaking her head like she could undo the moment with enough denial. No, ... That's not possible. We've had meetings, we've issued fines, we have bylaws." The second officer stepped forward. "Ma'am, your HOA hasn't filed a charter renewal since 2013, according to county records. It was administratively dissolved over a decade ago. You're running a ghost organization." Karen's voice cracked. "But I've been president for 8 years." "Of nothing," I said calmly. That hit her like a slap. She turned to me, eyes wide with confusion and a rising panic. "You tricked us. This is fraud. You moved in here without telling anyone. You should have gone through me." That's when I reached into the envelope on the porch table and pulled out the second document, the one she really didn't want to see. I unfolded it, held it out. "Here's the land transfer document from the county commissioner. You know the one where I acquired the abandoned HOA's former assets? After it was legally dissolved, including your enforcement vehicle, your so-called office building, and the community center you keep threatening people from." Karen's hands went to her head like she was dizzy. "That's not possible. How did you even..." "Because I said, standing now, my voice calm but sharp. While you were busy handing out fake citations and scaring old couples off their porches, I was quietly buying up every inch of land you thought you controlled, every missed tax payment, every forfeited title. You never noticed because you were too busy playing queen. Her face was turning pale now, her confidence bleeding out with every word. The first deputy looked like he was trying not to smile. Mr. McAllister, would you like to press charges for harassment or impersonation of authority? I shrugged. Not yet, Karen gasped. Not yet. Oh no, I said, locking eyes with her. First, I want to give you a tour of everything you used to think you owned. That's when her husband showed up, slamming the door of a Tesla and jogging toward us like he could fix something. Spoiler alert, he only made it worse. ChatGPT said he came charging down the gravel like he'd just gotten off a conference call and was ready to sue someone. Karen, what's going on? His voice was sharp, loud like a man used to getting his way in boardrooms, not backwoods. He looked around at the deputies, then at me, confused. Who the hell is this guy? Karen rushed to him like she'd been saved. He's trespassing. He's trying to kick us out of our own community. Call the lawyer. Her husband turned to the officer's face, already red. You need to arrest this man now. We pay dues. We run this HOA. This is harassment. The deputy didn't even blink. Sir, your HOA no longer exists. It was dissolved 12 years ago. He frowned. That's ridiculous. We have a functioning board. We have bank accounts that were opened fraudulently. The second officer cut in. Under a defunct entity, Mr. McAllister here purchased the land, the rights, and what used to be the HOA's assets, legally. The husband looked at Karen, stunned. You said we own this? Karen's lips were trembling. We did. I thought we did. No, I said slowly. Just acted like you did. I stepped off the porch now, walking toward them, papers still in hand. You know that little gate you put up last month, blocking the boat ramp? I had it removed. Illegally installed. Same with your no trespassing signs, every one of them on land I now own. You've got to be kidding me. ... Double quotes, the husband muttered. This can't be legal, actually, the deputy said. It's very legal. What's not legal is impersonating an HOA official, issuing fake citations, collecting dues under a defunct organization, and he paused for emphasis. Filing a false emergency report against the actual landowner. Karen looked like she'd aged 10 years in 10 minutes. Her voice was thin now. The community. We were just trying to keep it safe. That's not what you were doing, I said. You fined a retired vet for painting his shutters. You banned a single mom for leaving a kayak outside overnight. You tried to evict a 75-year-old man. For having a dog? Her husband looked like he was just now realizing how deep they were in. What do you want from us? I smiled slightly. Nothing. He raised an eyebrow. Because everything you thought you had, I already took it. Legally, quietly, one parcel at a time. The second officer's radio crackled. He stepped away to respond, but before he did, he nodded toward me. Looks like you did your homework. Karen's voice broke into a whisper. Are we going to jail? Not yet, I said again, because the real hammer was still on the way. Karen's husband was still trying to process everything when the sound of tires crunching over gravel snapped everyone's attention toward the road. A black SUV pulled up, windows tinted, engine quiet but heavy. Didn't have sirens. But it didn't need them. The energy changed instantly. Both deputies straightened. One of them adjusted his badge. Karen looked nervous again, her mouth opening slightly like she was trying to figure out who could possibly be next. The back door opened. A woman stepped out. Mid-40s. Navy blue pantsuit. Confident walk. A badge clipped to her belt and a federal seal on her ID holder. Good morning, she said calmly, flashing her credentials. Special Investigator Romero? County Land Use and Financial Crimes Division? Karen flinched like the title alone had slapped her. Mr. McAllister Romero nodded at me. Thank you for making the report. After reviewing your documentation and the flagged bank accounts tied to this defunct HOA, we expedited our visit. Karen took a step back. This is insane. You people are treating us like criminals. Romero didn't even look at her. You ran an illegal operation for over a decade. You collected unregistered dues, threatened homeowners, falsified compliance notices, and most recently used fake bylaws to call law enforcement on the actual landowner. That makes you both persons of interest in an ongoing financial fraud investigation. The husband's jaw clenched. You can't prove anything. Romero tapped her tablet. We already did. Your bank froze 2 accounts this morning. We have digital copies of every false violation letter, scanned signatures, and HOA fees deposited into personal savings. Your community fund was a front. You've collected over $380,000 from families under fake authority. Karen gasped. That money was for maintenance. Really? Romero tilted her head. Because you spent it on a leased Tesla, private vacations, and a kitchen remodel. We have the statements. Karen's knees buckled slightly. No. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. I stood there quietly watching her unravel. Romero turned to me. We're preparing formal charges. We'll need to take their statements downtown. One of the deputies moved toward Karen. No, wait, please. You don't understand, she begged. We thought we were helping. We were keeping the neighborhood in order. No one else stepped up. We just ... We just took control. Romero raised an eyebrow. You didn't take control. You stole it. Karen looked at her husband, but he was silent now, stone-faced. He wouldn't even meet her eyes. I finally spoke. You could have just knocked on my door that first day, Karen. Asked a question, had a conversation. Instead, you called 911 and tried to bully me off land that's been in my family for 50 years. Karen's eyes filled with tears. You're ruining everything, ... No, I said, walking back to the porch. You ruined it the second you thought. A clipboard gave you a crown. As they were both led to the SUV, cuffs quietly clicking into place. I poured myself another cup of coffee. Same cabin, same view, just quieter now.